Hey friends, it's Nikki here at Stillwater's Wreath Designs. How's everybody doing today? You guys, it is the day before Thanksgiving, and I don't know what's happened at your house with your family, but my husband and I are new empty nesters. So we have 3 kiddos. Our oldest 2 are grown and have their own families, and our youngest son moved to college in August, so we've been going through some transition. It is a super exciting time for us because our youngest son just came home yesterday from college for his Thanksgiving break, so him and all of his friends are zooming about the house, and our house is just alive with all kinds of fun activity. We are actually hosting Thanksgiving this year. My mom has, as she says, passed the baton. So my husband and I are hosting, which is totally fine. I mean, it tugs at my heart just a little bit to take the torch, but that's okay. So we're going to have a house full of people, our children and grandchildren and some friends, and so we're super excited about that. I have already gotten some Christmas trees out. We have multiple trees. We have a big old house. And so our house is just full of all kinds of festive spirit. And I just wanted to take a quick minute and spend some time with you the day before Thanksgiving and tell you how much I appreciate you. This has been a great first year, nearly year, here on the Stillwaters channel. I really feel like, we've really become a community, and you've embraced my channel and all the things that I'm so happy to share with you. And so I wanted to take a minute and thank you. That means the world to me that you all support a small town girl's dream in this crazy life. So thank you so very much. And I wanted to just spend a few minutes with you. I get a lot of questions. I've had a lot of questions rather throughout this entire year, but especially this time of year when there's lots of sales happening, about what my favorite wreath making tools are, and I try to link those for you as I use them throughout the videos. But I thought it would be a great time, since we're almost on top of Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all the things, all the sales, to share what my favorite wreath making tools are, so that if you want to grow your wreath making toolkit, now's a great time to grab some of those things. So I'm going to go really quickly. I know that your time is precious this time of year. And so I'm just going to quickly show you my favorite tools that I have in my own wreath making stash. You can take a peek at them. I'll also just leave a list for you of those items below in the description of this video, so that you can go find those online or at your favorite shopping store. Of course, if you're new here to the channel, let me just say welcome. I'm happy to have you. Stillwater's Wreath Designs is all about step-by-step wreath making tutorials. We've got new tutorials uploading every single week, so I'd love for you to hit that subscribe button and join us. And for those of you that have been here on my channel for a while, I so appreciate you, especially during this time of Thanksgiving. It really means a lot to this girl's heart that you've been with me all year. And I'm excited to see what our next year brings. All right, guys, let's just dive right into all of my favorite wreath making tools. So the first thing I recommend is a self-healing mat. That's what you actually see in the background. A self-healing mat is what you pair with a rotary cutter, so that you can quickly cut your deco mesh, your ribbon, all the things. And you can just actually roll a blade right on this mat, and it's not going to hurt the mat. It's not going to hurt your cutter or your scissors. It helps you to really move through the cutting process in wreath making with efficiency, and they actually come in lots of different sizes. My preferred size is what you see here. This is 36 inches wide and 24 inches tall. They do make them smaller and larger. This is actually double-sided. This is the side I haven't used yet. I haven't even taken the label off of it. And then this pairs well with my next recommended tool, which is a rotary cutter. Guys, this is probably at the very top of my recommendation list. It's basically like a mini pizza cutter, and it allows you to roll out your mesh or your ribbon and cut quickly just by squeezing on the handle. You know, if you've been on the channel for very long, you know that I make a ton of wreaths, probably 3 or 4 a week. And during the holiday season, gosh, probably 15 to 20 a week. And I only change out my blade maybe once every 6 months. So it's a very cost-effective tool, and it's going to last you a really long time. Next up, this seems like a simple thing to share, but make sure that you have a really good pair of crafting scissors or fabric scissors so that you get nice clean cuts when you're cutting your ribbon. So when I first started out, you know, I think I had some Walmart scissors or something, maybe even some Dollar Tree scissors, and I would go through them pretty quickly. They would give me jagged cuts, and then I realized that's because they weren't the right quality for what I was doing. So make sure that you have a good pair of crafting scissors. I would also recommend that you have 2 different types of cutters. So you typically hear me call these my snips or my wire cutters. I'm not sure what the technical term is, probably wire cutters, but these are great for trimming your thinner stemmed florals and embellishments. They're just a teeny tiny blade, and you can really get down in there and snip them nice and cleanly without a lot of exertion. And then for my thicker stemmed florals, I've got my big boys. These are actually Work Pro bolt cutters, and so you can see how much bigger that blade is to really allow for proper cutting. So you've got, you know, both the large and the small based on what you're cutting. So make sure you've got one of each of those. You're going to want to keep just a standard 12-inch ruler in your stash. This is most important for when you are measuring smaller tails and you don't want to necessarily use your self-healing cutting mat. And then I also use this faithfully when I'm making a deco mesh wreath that's got the poof and curl base so that I can measure my poofs. I recommend always keeping a pack of 6-inch clear, or milky clear actually, zip ties to secure down your bows and your embellishments. I also recommend that you keep a stash of pipe cleaners or Chanel stems. Chanel stems are basically the same thing as pipe cleaners, and I use these as well for securing my bows, tying them down into wreaths, as well as my embellishments. Of course, you're going to need a glue gun. Guys, I really recommend that you use Gorilla Glue sticks. Now, whether or not you use the Gorilla Glue gun, I don't really think it matters. But I've definitely found in my wreath making that basically any glue sticks outside of Gorilla Glue in extreme temperature, so extreme cold or extreme heat, cannot always be counted on to be foolproof. I haven't had any issues with the Gorilla Glue sticks, so I definitely recommend those. Again, use the glue gun that you prefer. Now, I do have a corded glue gun. I actually have a battery operated hot glue gun that I really, really love. The problem is I'm horrible about remembering to charge it, if I'm going to be completely honest. So I'm going to leave a link for you below. You know, if you're better at remembering those things than I am, they're much handier because you don't have to worry about the pesky cord or, you know, keeping your workstation near an outlet. But if you're like me and you don't remember to charge it, it doesn't do you much good. So I'm going to leave a link for both. And again, definitely recommend the Gorilla Glue sticks, the Gorilla Glue gun, you know, any glue gun will do. If you are new to wreath making, guys, you know, everybody has their own learning curves. For me, the most challenging thing to learn when I first started was how to make a bow. I really struggled with that. Now in my videos, you'll notice that most of the time I make my bows by hand, but when I first started, I couldn't make a bow by hand for anything. And so I had to rely on bow makers to help me. I still use them when I'm making them in bulk. And so there's 2 different bow makers that kind of dominate the market. There is the Bow Dabra, which looks just like this. And then there's the Easy Bow Maker. Both of them are very popular. Both of them work really well. I would say my own personal preference, I actually prefer the Bow Dabra. I find it easier to work with. But the Easy Bow Maker works just as well too. So the only real difference is the Bow Dabra allows you to slide your floral wire or Chanel stem down into the bow maker to tuck it away and hold it. It's also got a wand to press and compress your ribbon down. And to me, it's just easier to handle. The Easy Bow Maker offers a spindle to hold your ribbons that you know, the Bow Dabber doesn't have. So they both have their strong points and weak points, but overall, I would recommend the Bow Dabber. So let me just show you some of my favorite storage pieces. And guys, my studio is in our family basement, and it's probably 20 by 16, which may sound large. But when you are videoing weekly and you have an Etsy shop and a local shop and all the things, I've got some tight quarters down here. And so I really focus on space saving storage options. If you are like me and your ribbon piles up, I recommend these shoe racks. And so I'm going to leave some links for you below. These assemble really well. They're very lightweight. They don't require any tools for assembly. I can assemble them myself in, gosh, maybe 10 minutes. And so they are perfect for ribbon storage. Guys, excuse all the boxes. You know, it is the time of year on Etsy where, well, boxes are everywhere. So I store my florals on the wall. My husband made this floral wall for me. It's probably a 1x4 that he has mounted horizontally to the wall. I've got 2 rows, as you can see here. And then we just bought, I don't know, 8 to 10 black plastic trash cans and some washers, and he nailed those right to those wooden boards. And I'm able to store all of my florals and keep them in one tight spot. So I keep all of my deco mesh in a cubed shelf. This is actually underneath my work table that you see me creating on in videos. Those cubes really let you sort through your deco mesh and keep it stored and out of the way without really adding any unnecessary bulk to your workspace area. Guys, I know I have a few other wreath makers who either sell their wreaths on Etsy, or they too have a YouTube channel, or they are aspiring to. So the next couple of items are going to be specifically targeted to folks who are currently videoing or hoping to video or create a YouTube channel. So I recommend this gooseneck cell phone holder. That's what I use 95% of the time. It pivots so that you can really position your phone as you want to. And every video that you watch, I just use my phone for all of my videoing, and it's propped right up here in this clamp. If you ship wreaths from Etsy or any online retail space, I, for a long time, just manually printed labels and then taped them down onto my packages. And just a few months ago, I found this super handy, it's called a Jaden's 4x6 label printer. It doesn't require any computer. It doesn't require you to be tech savvy at all, and it Bluetooths right to your phone. So you can purchase your labels directly from Etsy or Parcel Path or whatever platform you use, and it'll print right out from your phone, and you don't have to worry about using a computer. And last but not least, I'm going to show you this kitchen scale that I use to weigh all of my packages. So I've got those proper weights. This is just an Amazon kitchen scale, super cost effective, and it goes from 0 to 10 pounds, which, you know, is ideal for most of my packages. And that's what I use for weighing before I purchase my labels. That's all the goodies that I have for you now. If you have any questions about any of these products, feel free to drop me a comment below. And I want to wish you all a wonderful, blessed Thanksgiving. And I hope you have a beautiful weekend with your friends and family.